had some changes to our accountability system. Provide a bit of a timeline here. So a little over a year ago, the board voted to make those changes. We've kind of been going through some different components of that process since, leading up to our release, or what we hope will be our release here very, very soon. I like those components of this new framework that are good, that are more representative of all of our students, and ultimately I think gives us a better picture of where our schools are and how they're functioning. A little bit of a primer here before and after. So prior to this school year, I think we're all very familiar with what that reporting looked like, very, very much based on that overall pass-fail component. Did our students pass the test or not? Some other pieces certainly factored into that, but that had always been that cornerstone piece. Still very much primary in regards to the current data, but much more comprehensive in regards to how they're looking at it now. Separated out this idea of accreditation and accountability. Separating those pieces out, really providing us a much more in-depth framework of how our schools are performing and what that looks like for our students. Starting this year and moving forward, all of our schools and all the schools across the state of Virginia will be receiving a couple of different designations. So first and foremost, we'll still see that accreditation designation. Accountability is where we get into what we're typically associating with these types of presentations. How are our students performing on the SOL assessments? Where are we at from an absenteeism standpoint? Are they graduating on time? Are they taking the coursework we want them to take? And within that accountability structure, they're going to get a score on that framework, 0 to 100. From an accreditation standpoint, just wanted to provide a quick look here, very similar to what we've seen in the past in regards to the words that they are using, but this now has nothing to do with student performance on SOLs. We're kind of used to that being the verbiage. They've taken that to the other side, and this really is, are we following things and doing all the stuff we're supposed to as it relates to our requirements under code, as it relates to our requirements for data reporting to the state, and giving us nice little visuals on what that looks like here. We report a couple of times a year to get that information in. I want to provide the board a listing here. These are the 10 pieces that are straight out of Virginia code that accreditation connects to. Accountability standpoint, this is the big change this year and what this framework looks like. Ultimately, that mastery component, where our students fell in passing or failing the test, is still very, very important, but it's much more comprehensive. All of our students, even those that did not pass, still count, is the word we are using towards scores within this framework. They are recognized within this framework, and ultimately how our schools are designated as a result of that. And there are still a number of components that go in beyond performance on the SOLs. Again, things we're used to in regards to absenteeism, graduation rates, and a few others that added in. Again, I think in a positive way as we go through. So one more look here, a little side-by-side comparison. I've actually appreciated these charts from the state, kind of giving us a visual grounding of what all that looks like, but a true separation of these different ratings, these different processes. Each school will have a rating based on these two new systems, but definitely an attempt to separate what is accreditation and what is accountability for the purposes of identifying our schools. At this point, so the framework itself, thinking about accountability, you'll notice at each of our levels, there's different weights provided to different areas. So mastery, that's where we're really thinking about performance on the SOLs. Where did our students fall with reading, math, and science?